Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Yancha bhikkave cetaso avupasamo tattayoniso manasikara bahulikaro ayamaharo anuppannassa uddacca kukkuccassa uppadaya uppannassa uddacca kukkuccaya biyo bhavayatiti. Yeah, so I thought I just take that thing we discuss about uddacca kukkucca as the topic. So Buddha says, what is the food for arising of uddacca kukkucca and increase the uddacca kukkucca, what has already arisen. The food is ayoniso manasikara. Ayoniso manasikara bahulikara. So ayoniso manasikara is the food. When you have this cetaso avupasamo. Cetaso avupasamo means you have a kind of imbalance mind. Avupasamo, it's not settled, unsettled mind. Unbalanced, unsettled mind. You see it, then you look at it in a way, you associate with it in a way that it grows up. So we need to understand what are the things, what are the means of ayoniso manasikara. Then we can associate with this kind of situation. We can balance the situation once we know the problem. So what could happen here? So first thing you need to understand, especially in meditation, because if you understand this in meditation, whether it is walking or sitting, doesn't matter. If you understand this thing here in the meditation, then you can bring it to your daily life. I don't know whether you notice or not, but what usually happens is, you do not have this kind of problem in the beginning of meditation session. It usually comes, this, let's say we call it wandering mind, right? We just get lost in thought. So this wandering mind comes sometime after, right? It usually doesn't happen at the beginning unless you have a problem before you come to meditation. Maybe you fight with someone, or you have a very good profit. Maybe you won a lottery or something. Then from the beginning maybe you have wandering thoughts. But otherwise, what usually happens is, you start meditation, then you do it for some time, then this kind of thinking start to come, right? Start to happen. So this thing you need to notice. This thing can happen depending on anything, like even, let's say you do a job. When you go to the job for the first time, you determine to do it very perfect way, right? At the beginning. But what happens when you keep doing it, accustomed to it, then it becomes like a normal, your daily work or something, right? Then you find yourself are not much interested as at the beginning. This thing happened to meditation also. At the beginning, you feel the meditation object itself is very prominent and you can hold on to it. I mean, at the beginning sometimes you determine, I will not think anything else but just pay attention to the primary meditation object. Pay attention to my meditation. But you think it is your problem that wandering thoughts come. It's you yourself thinking about this because you are not paying enough attention to meditation. It's not the case. It's not the case because you look at your any daily activity, such as we discussed the job. These things happen in our life. So that is the nature. When you come to the meditation also, you see the same nature. in very short period. Our daily things, it takes very long time, so you might not notice it. You do not pay so much attention to this thing. You don't know what's happening, but it's happening. Let's say you change food, right? Why you change food? What happens if you take the same food every day? Yeah, why you get bored? What happens to the taste of the food? Same means? Yeah, no variety, then what happens to the taste? Is it same or is it different? Is it? Why people complain? Food is not good. How can we eat the same food every day? At home there are complaints come, no? Yeah, maybe taste is same, we know that. Theoretically we know that taste is same. But we feel the taste, you cannot taste it anymore, right? Yeah, cannot find the pleasure factor, yeah. So this is what happened. Whatever the experience we get in our life, this thing is there. We do not notice it, but we react to it somehow. We searching for different foods, but do we know what really happens? It happens in our whole life also, When you're born, your life is very beautiful, right? You look at a puppy, very cute, right? But what happens when it grows up? When it gets old, the dog he also not reacting, right? He just very lazy, become very lazy. And you also look at the dog, you cannot embrace the dog, right? So this is the nature of life. So this is the nature of all the experience. If you look closely, you can recognize this nature. So when it comes to meditation is not something, other than our other experience. It has the same nature. So when you start the meditation, you determine not to get lost in any thought, but the same thing start to happen. You are not interested in meditation. You try to meditate properly, but your mind is not interested with the meditation object. It doesn't want to stay with the meditation object. So this thing can happen. That is why at the beginning you do not get lost in thought, but after some time it starts. So if you understand this thing, then first thing is you need to accept. This is my body and mind. This is how it works. It's not the way what I want to work, but that is how it functions. Then, if you understand this properly, if you get this notion, then whatever you start, you will know. This too will end. It was there's a story, I think it comes from Europe countries. Oh, I don't know whether it is Zen story also. I think same story in Zen also. It's originated in Europe country also. The king, he has a ring. He wears the ring. This ring, there's a verse in the ring. This too will end. But king doesn't understand the meaning of it. He received it from his father. He wears it. But he doesn't know the meaning. And he was searching for the meaning. Somehow he lost his kinghood. He had to go to the jail. It's a kind of, he just reflect on it. This too will end. When he read the verse, every time he feel relaxed when he was in the jail. I don't remember what the whole story. There was a sequence of incident happened to him. Then at every time he was reflecting on it. This too will end. Then whether it is good or bad, he find a peace in that, because he just reflecting on that verse. But the same thing here. I mean, this thing he just read from somewhere. But when we look at our real experience in our life, we can see the thing, we can understand it, then you can apply it to your whole life, what your life also incident, right? It has a beginning and it has an end, and the process is like that. At the beginning it's very nice, then it grows, you have a lot of hopes about life, but maximum 80 or 90 years, no matter how much you put hopes. So we struggle so much, but we forget about how long we live. We live like we live forever. So this reflection, so you can see it in meditation object. When you start meditation, you feel it's something very fresh. You can associate it, you can pay attention to it, but with time, the way you hold on to the meditation object, the attachment slowly reduces. You consider it as something very bad, isn't it? When you start wondering, because you don't see what happens to the meditation object, it's slowly detaching. Then you cannot hold on to it. So there's a level come, because you cannot hold on to the meditation object, your mind doesn't want to stay with it, then it start wandering. Then when come to that level, you need to learn there. Because it is like you pass to the second class, grade second. Grade 1, you have to solve, let's say, mathematical problem. Is considered easy, but when you come to grade 2, the problems are a little difficult, right? So you have to deal with it. When you start grade 2, you feel, oh, it's very difficult. But you come to grade 3 and look at the grade 2 questions, you find it's very easy, right? Sometimes you look down when someone is scratching his head looking at these questions. The same here in meditation also. When these things happen, you take it very serious. You want to, settle everything. You want to make it like perfect meditation session. What really happens is you see the nature. There are reasons to happen like that. If you don't see these reasons, these causes, you think it is something wrong with you. You have no enough good intention, or you are not good enough to do meditation. No. When you become mindful, you can see this nature. You can understand what happens. Why does not happen at once? You have to do it again and again. Then, when you grow up in meditation, you slowly understand why this thing happened. The one thing wandering mind happen is you cannot hold on to the meditation object. Your mind cannot attach to the meditation object. So then it is actually a improvement. You are improving. It is a problem actually. You don't want it to happen like that. But when it happens, you learn from it. So how to learn? Then you have to learn how to deal with this. So you get lost in thought. Then if you know this is an improvement in meditation, then you have a positive mind rather than looking at it negatively. Positive mind, positive thought. Then when mind get lost, you don't know. It's something like autopilot mode. But then you come back to mindfulness. This thing happened. So if I ask, intentionally can you get lost? Cannot, right? Intentionally. If you have intention doesn't work there, right? When you get lost. Can you come back to mindfulness intentionally? Can it? Can you come back to mindfulness intentionally? I get lost, then I will come back to knowing in this second. Can? Yeah, you just know once it comes, but you cannot program it, right? It just happens. So these are basic things in our life. It's all completely automatic. We don't have any control over these very basic things. So in life, we have some certain area you are not in control, it just happens. And some areas you can do things intentionally. So when come back to mindfulness, you can do it intentionally, right? Your intention works, then what you can do is, so you just now you get lost in thought, you are away from the meditation object, can I come back to my meditation object? That is where intention. That is where Buddha say, don't stay outside. If you stay outside, you can get lost easily. Get lost again. Usually which kind of object you become unmindful? Can you get lost in thought with something like thinking about breathing or walking? Let's say breathing. Can you do daydreaming with breathing? Does it happen? Or walking? Walking experience. The touching, feet touching the ground. This kind of simple experience, can you have daydreaming about that? Even if it happens, it's very rare, right? So, but which kind of objects, when we relate to it, kind of that the daydreaming happens? You think about your child, or your parent, or you think about your car, or your job, or something, right? So these are the things. Something is very important for me, then I start to daydreaming. I plan, or something important has happened to me in the past, so I start to thinking about that. So you can understand, if we are attached so much to something, then we start thinking about it. If I am not attached, then I am not interested to think about that, right? Let's say this tree outside, you cannot usually daydream about these trees, right? It doesn't happen, practically it doesn't happen, right? Let's say a carpenter come to meditate here, then there's a big tree outside, and the wood is very valuable. These people looking at the tree, we looking at it like the flowers, leaves, how it looks like. That is what we see in a tree. But these people, they look at the tree, they see like how much wood he can take from the tree, then the 1 feet is how expensive. They start to come, They're looking at it completely different way. So they have a value. Then they can, daydream. I heard one story from another venerable. He said there was one person came to his monastery to meditate. Then this place have very big trees, and he is a carpenter. He planned to stay there, I think, 1 or 2 months. Then few days later he come and say he want to go back. Then this venerable asked, why you want to go back? Bhante, I cannot meditate here. What is the problem? He asked. There are very big trees. Every time when I look at the trees, I start thinking about it. These are the habits that's grown up in our life. So once it's become habit, even if you want to stop it, it's very difficult. These habits start to come, start to operate in ourselves, even when we least predicted it. You do not want to think about your jobs or whatever, come here and think about it, right? But it happens. But you can see it. That is the important thing. You can see it. So you see the nature of your character. No? So you no need to actually take it as something very bad. So you can see the character of you. If you make it a big problem, if you look at it something very bad, then it start to grow up. Because you look at it negatively. Rather than looking at it very negatively, it's wandering thoughts comes, but can I come back to meditation object whenever I know it? That is what you need. So mind goes out. You can make it like, game or sport. Game with your mind. Make a game with your mind. Make a challenge with your mind. You try to go out, you bring it back. They again go out, bring it back. Okay, you go out, I bring it back. Same like you taking care of a child. Let's say you have to do something in the kitchen. You keep the child maybe on a mat. Then you let him sleep or something. Then you do your work. So you look at him time to time. Then you perform your work. Then child does not want to stay there, right? If he can, he just start to walk. He start to move. Then what mother does? When child comes, she bring the child back to the mat to give him a toy or something. Then come back to his work. Then again come. So every time he come, he just bring him back to the mat. Mother does not complain, right, to the child. Because mother knows if the child is healthy, he start to move. He cannot stay like that. If the child has some problem, health problem or something, maybe he stay there. So if your mind is healthy mind usually start to run here and there. That is the nature of mind. But if nanny take care of the child, will nanny be happy? No, right? Because she cannot take rest when every time the child start to do something. So she is happy if child just stay there. But mother, she looking at it differently. So the same way, look at your mind as the mother looking at the child. Don't look at it very negatively. I remember we go to a prison to do a mindfulness session. It's not a prison actually, it's this drug addicted, rehabilitated center. Their experience is different. When they practice mindfulness, they say they are kind of very calm. They never complain about wandering thoughts. They just say, okay, I experience very calm and likewise. But they cannot explain about breathing or something. They say just don't know anything or something like that. Because their mind is very weak. I don't know, I guess. Because many of them like that. And they cannot observe something because maybe it's not very healthy. The healthy mind usually is try to run here and there. And then through the practice, we can have control over it. We can have a control over it. But usually the mind is, it's always running here and there. Main thing you need to understand is this wandering mind is not something bad. That is what Buddha has said. It's not something bad. You make it worse by looking at it wrongly. That is what Buddha said. Ayoniso manasikaro. Cetaso upasamo. Buddha says it's not something wrong. There are situations in your mind that is sometimes very calm. I mean, at home, maybe you must have experience. Like there are some time you feel very calm, right? Even without meditation. So when you come to meditation also, sometime you feel very calm, sometime it's not very calm. You have these things already, this calm mind and like agitated mind. But when we practice mindfulness, we just looking at it, understand it, then how we know to react to it. If we react to those things, when the mind is calm, if you are so attached to it, then definitely that will result, when you see this agitated mind, you become very upset, right? So in meditation, we need to have an attitude like you do not try to give the value to the experience, you just know it. Don't try to give a value, whether it is good or bad, just know it. Our job is to know, without giving value. when you practice this knowing, you need to stay with one object, primary meditation object, not because you must stay with it all the time. When you try to stay with it, you can see it's going back to other experiences. That is the important. That is the importance. If you don't try to stay with the meditation object, you cannot see it. It is still wandering, but you cannot see it. Now, when you try to stay with the meditation object, you can see it wandering. So, don't look at it negatively. Rather than looking at it negatively, just check when you know it, can I come back to meditation object? That is very simple. You no need to try to stop it. It's already stopped. At the time you know it, you just need to bring it back. It is the way of looking at it. Okay, so I think, that's the basic thing we need to know about how to deal with Uddacha Kukkujja. You have any question? We talk about something very simple. Okay, good.